What's up guys, it's Dinger's Deli. We're back with another video. Today we're going to be previewing the Cleveland Indians or the Cleveland baseball team. If you like this content or you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. Get in the comments down below and tell me what you guys think about the Indians for this upcoming season. So basically how these videos work is, first I talk about the offseason, then the rotation, then the bullpen, then the lineup, 2 prospects to look out for this upcoming year, and finally, where they'll be in their respective division. So for the Indians, of course, that's the AL Central. So let me go first talk about the offseason. So this offseason was a big one for the Indians. They got way younger. They lost some of their old stars. And I think it's like a mini rebuild, but I think they'll be back very soon. So people they got were Ahmed Rosario and Andres Hernandez, coming back in that Francisco Lindor trade. They also got a couple of prospects. They got Eddie Rosario after he was non-tendered by the Twins. They signed Ben Gamel and Billy Hamilton for outfield depth. They got Blake Parker, but I don't expect him to pitch much in the big leagues because he was a part of the Phillies last year who had a terrible bullpen. And they also re-signed Roberto Perez, who around 40, I don't even know. Like I said, they lost Lindor, Adam Zimmer, Carlos Carrasco went with Lindor, and then Carlos Santana, he went to the Royals. Delino DeShields, Tyler Naquin, and Jeffrey Rodriguez also departed. So they literally got like as many people as they lost. So they got kind of younger, and I think Andres Jimenez is going to be a stud. And good luck to Francisco Lindor in New York. Alright, so the Indians rotation, you got AL Cy Young of the previous year. He just got COVID recently, so hopefully Shane Bieber is doing well and safe, and hopefully he has a great season. They also have Aaron Savale, Zach Plesac, Tristan Mckenzie is a young prospect, we'll talk about him later, Logan Allen, and Scott Moss. Savale is really good. Zach Plesac, Tristan Mckenzie, Logan Allen, like they're all really good pitchers. And of course, Shane Bieber, he's fabulous. He's going to be really, really good. He has nasty stuff. The thing with the Indians is they're a really good pitching team. They always know how to develop pitchers. That's why they've been able to trade away Bauer. They've been able to trade away Carrasco. They've been able to trade away Clevenger, and they're literally still fine. They've traded away Kluber as well. So they've traded away 4 really good pitchers right now that potentially could still be on the rotation, and they're still gonna have a pretty good rotation because they really know how to develop pitchers and make them good, like how Shane Bieber was mentored by the good guys, and how now Shane Bieber is gonna mentor some young guys like Tristan Mckenzie. So the Indians have really good rotation. Alright, so in the bullpen you got James Karinchak, Nick Whitgren, Emmanuel Clase, Adam Plekto, who originally was in the rotation, Oliver Perez, who they re-signed, and he's 40 years old, but he's still a pretty good pitcher, Phil Maton, Cal Quantrill, who was the starting pitcher, and he came over in that trade with San Diego for Josh Naylor, and they gave San Diego Mike Clevenger, but Cal Quantrill, his dad was a good pitcher. I mean, I think he's going to be good, but they're going to try him like a guy who's going to pitch 2 to 3 innings out of relief. I think that's what they're gonna do with him. Then you got Cam Hill and Kyle Nelson. Not many people know these players, but they're actually pretty good. Their bullpen is sort of underrated. It's serviceable. They have a pretty good bullpen, and I can see some of their young starters having a go at the bullpen in case it doesn't work out for starting, and so they can get developed either way. So at catcher, the Indians have Roberto Perez starting. He didn't have a great season at all offensively, but we all know the reason the Indians even have Roberto Perez is because he's a really good defensive catcher. He can throw a lot of runners out. He can frame really well. He is a top defensive catcher in the whole game of baseball. And backing him up, you got another guy who's literally the exact same thing, Austin Hedges. I don't know how much time he'll get behind the plate, but because the other have such a great defensive catcher. But Austin Hedges and Roberto Perez are the 2 catchers, and both of them are very good defensively, but not great offensively. At first base, this is a battle you should look out for in spring training. You got Bobby Bradley, who's a very young prospect, who hasn't played too much, but I see him taking the starting role for now. And then backing him up, you got Jake Bauers, who, because he didn't have a great 2019, he spent the whole 2020 at the alternate site, so he He might have got better, he might have got worse, he might be the same. We don't exactly know until spring training. And then Josh Neller's not officially like on the depth chart at first base, but I put him here because even though the Indians view him as an outfielder, I see a chance for him to start the season off at first base. It just depends on who does better versus like Bobby Bradley versus Jake Bauers and Josh Naylor. And so this is going to be a good spring training battle for you guys to look out for. And then at second base, you got Cesar Hernandez, who they got last year from the Phillies in free agency. And then backing him up, you got Andres Jimenez, Ahmed Rosario, Mike Freeman, and Yu Chang. At third base, you got Jose Ramirez, almost won the AL MVP. He's really good. Had a lot of walk-off wins, got them into the playoffs. Him and Lindor, but now it's just him. And backing him up, you also got, again, Mike Freeman and Yu Chang. At the shortstop position, you got defensive wizard Andres Jimenez. He came over in the Lindor trade, and he was the main piece of the whole entire trade. They would, like, it depends on who they start, but I think they're going to start Andres Jimenez rather than Ahmed Rosario, because I see a more chance that Ahmed Rosario plays a utility role or plays a starting outfielder spot, especially because Jimenez is younger. They have the same amount of offensive value, and he's just better defensively. In left field, you got Eddie Rosario, who was non-tendered by the Twins, so the Indians picked him up. Backing him up, you got Josh Neller and Jordan Luplow. And then in center, you got Oscar Mercado, Bradley Zimmer. Oscar Mercado hasn't been too great in this past year, but hopefully he can bounce back. And Bradley Zimmer was like a very top prospect, but he's like not shown any of the potential he was supposed to be. But hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. Is Bradley Zimmer going to be any good? And then here in right field is a big one. You got Josh Naylor starting for now, I guess. Ahmed Rosario backing him up. Then Eddie Rosario, then Jordan Luplow, and Daniel Johnson. So here's how I think it's going to work. I have Josh Naylor starting in right field, because for now he's their right fielder, but Ahmed Rosario could take this job in spring training, and then Josh Naylor takes the first base job, and then they put Bobby Bradley back in AAA for a bit. That way they can have the best potential lineup for a while, and then eventually if Ahmed's not doing too well, or if Andres Jimenez is not doing too well, they can shuffle up the lineups and it'll still work. So yeah. Finally, at DH, you got Franmil Reyes. I mean, his power is obvious, and he's really good. He hits a lot of homers, and yeah, I think he'll be really good for them. Franmil Reyes. So that's all the lineup. Next, we're going to be talking about two prospects. And then finally, I'll give my final outlook for the team this upcoming year. And yeah, that's going to be it. Alright, so the first prospect we're going to be talking about is Nolan Jones. He's a first baseman / third baseman who can also play some corner outfield. His highest level is AA, and he's 22 years old. He has a very good amount of patience at the plate, and he has a lot of power. So in 2019 at High A, he had a walk percentage of 20%. He also makes a lot of hard contact, but he doesn't pull the ball too much. But when he gets to the big leagues, I think he's going to be an on-base percentage monster, and so he's going to be really good. He's worked at third base, first base, and the outfield, and I think they can put him at first base, especially because I told you guys previously about the whole problem with the Indians at first base. Next, we're going to be talking about Tristan Mckenzie. The second prospect I'm going to be talking about is Tristan Mckenzie. After he lost a full year to injury in 2019, he came back onto the scene and tossed a 6-inning, 10-strikeout gem for the Indians. So he's really good, and he's shown some promise at the big league level. But the thing is, he has struggled to keep his body healthy while being very good. While he looks promising and he looked to be really good, his fastball velocity has dipped every single start he has made in the big leagues, and so we don't know if he can remain a starter at the with his fastball velocity, and he might just be a 3-inning opener or multiple inning reliever because his durability issues on the mound might not be that great because of how his frame and body are, because he's 6'5", but he's only 160 pounds, so I don't know. Alright, so this Cleveland Indians team for the upcoming 2021 season looks to be a pretty good one, but not as great as they were the previous past years because they lost their star player Francisco Lindor, but they do have some young candidates approaching, some young players, and very good pitching like usual. Um, they're gonna replace Lindor, but they still have Ramirez, so I think they could make it in as a wild card team. Just depends on how the rest of the AL goes. Probably not, but they're still gonna be a pretty good team. So I think they're probably gonna be ending up in third in the AL Central. So that's it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys do subscribe and hit that like button if you like this type of content or you're new to the channel. Also, make sure to get in the comments down below and tell me what you guys think about the Indians. And finally, go check out all our social media and have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and bye.